Right.
Yo, yo, yo. Hey, what's up, everybody? This is your boy Isaac.
And this is your boy Bryce.
And we, of course, are brothers on tennis. And folks, we're bringing something to you today that is just really, really important for us. And it's about giving visibility, giving exposure, and it's tied to the kids. So everybody should love that. Just simply put, it's tied to the kids. So, Bryce, I know that we have had some great discussions with this father and his kids, and we are going to talk about it today. But how about sharing a little bit of additional information about the Baker family?
Yes, so we are joined today by Father Darrell Baker with his two kids, Jackson and Mackenzie. And what they have done, and I don't know if you'll be able to see this or not, but they have published a coloring and activity book called The 25 Most Influential Black Tennis Figures, Past and Present. And guys, this is just really amazing. Before we bring them on, just want to let you know, it's full of pictures of Black players that have graced our sport so that folks can color, but they can also learn a little bit about each player. And then towards the back, which is really neat, they have like tennis facts, they have Black tennis facts, they have, things like the racket anatomy, and then fun things like a crazy maze, tennis crossword word puzzle, word scramble, a word search, a player name search, something that is just really cool and something that Brothers on Tennis really would love for everyone to support. But who can talk about this book better than I can is the Baker family. So without further ado, we introduce to you Darrell, Jackson, and Mckenzie Baker.
First of all, thanks for having us, man. This is awesome. Long time coming, and we've been talking for a while to get this play. I'm glad it worked out. We're glad to be here. So thanks for having us.
So Absolutely. First of all, can you just introduce who you have there joining you?
So again, Jackson Baker, 13-year-old, 8th grader, soon to be in high school, aspiring tennis star. As we mentioned earlier, we just came from a tennis match, so we're just fresh off of that, grueling match. And to my left is Mckenzie Baker, 10 years old, another aspiring tennis star. So just getting started, but we're both having fun. They're both having fun with the sport. So, and myself, Dad, Darrell, just doing what I can to support them, give them the resources they need. Recently took tennis lessons myself, so I'm trying to get into the sport, as well as the wife. So the hope is that we become a tennis family, right? So we're playing doubles and getting out there, mixing it up and traveling around. So just, getting into it. So
I love that, Darrell. Love that. And talk to us about just what inspired you all and this project.
Awesome. So I'll start from scratch. So this whole project started during COVID, right? We're all kind of hunkered down in the house, staring at each other, can't go anywhere, just confused about the whole COVID thing, right? So from that, I'm an artist, not by trade, but just by hobby. And these two, again, are aspiring tennis players, right? So we took that and kind of melded it together, right? So I sketched and came up with some ideas. They did all the word searches, all the activities, all the research for each player. So it became a project, right? So between learning and deciding to become business owners, it's just morphed into something that grew legs, and here we are, So from all my resources on Instagram, from college buddies who are graphic artists, it just morphed and turned into something. So Jackson's going to speak to what he learned as far as business, but we just picked up from every step and learned a lot, as far as how to bring a project to fruition. So with that said, again, it was an awesome time.
So we love to hear about people as players. And so I want to direct this question really to the kids. So since you're coming up and you're learning the game of tennis, I know you're watching some people on TV that you like. Mackenzie, who's your favorite tennis player to watch?
My favorite is Serena Williams.
Great choice.
You can't go wrong with that. There's a GOAT right there. And then Jackson, who is your favorite person?
Probably Felix.
FAA, huh?
Yep.
All right, all right. We like both of those choices. And,
He's
and
been told he's been told he resembles Felix, so he takes that.
oh, okay.
I was gonna say, I wonder if anybody had tried to draw a little similarity right there.
Exactly.
And Dad, by the way, I like your hat. Anyway,
Yeah, switched up a little bit, so yeah.
so
Awesome.
so talking about, the background in tennis, how did you go about doing your research, like in terms of figuring out who you were going to include in the book, the fact that you were putting word searches and player name searches, how did you come up with that whole concept?
So again, we started with our favorites, those that we've gotten in just of late between Monfils and Felix and all these common names, Coco, started there and worked the way back, right? Obviously, you got Zena Garrison, you got, Katrina Adams, all these names that start popping in our heads as we start doing research and realized that we really had a really huge contribution to the sport. And that's what we were hoping to kind of, translate to everyone that, hey, listen, it's not just Serena and Venus. There's a lot of folks out there that play tennis, and it goes way back to the HBCUs, the whole bit. I mean, so we want to make sure that message was exposed to the audience, So again, doing the research, Googling, again, these two led all the research between their Google searches and sorry. He wants to jump in. Love it, go ahead.
And we kind of wanted little kids who didn't play tennis before to kind of get into the sport by adding the coloring and activity book would kind of like draw their interest and stuff like that.
Oh, man, I appreciate that. Yeah.
So excellent.
Yes, again, it was a learning thing just to make sure that people knew that these folks are out there, So I think it started with that and it just morphed and turned into something a little bigger than we would have planned initially. So, yeah.
No, that is excellent. And I guess in the process of pulling the book together, I mean, were there certain shots that you were going after when you were, kind of drawing the players out, or did you want to make sure there were certain forehands or certain backhands that you used?
Great question. So again, Monfils with the Wakanda, we had to get that right. Tiafo with the LeBron celebration. So certain key signature images, we want to make sure those were seen. Coco with the fist pump,
right.
Same thing. A lot of them with the fist pump. So it's that was a big deal. Arthur Ashe holding the trophy. Yannick
Yes.
the hair. It's all those images that if you see those, you recognize them, right? So we wanted to make sure it was a recognizable type of deal for everyone to get into. So yeah.
And Isaac, I'm glad you brought up shots because I want to go back to the kids again. So since you two are coming up, are up and coming players, we'll start with you again, Mackenzie. What's your favorite shot?
My favorite shot is a forehand because I'm a righty and it's easier for me to hit and I can hit it harder than my backhand.
Oh, okay. That's a good
Gotcha.
reason. That's a good reason. Now, Jackson, what's your favorite shot?
I mean, since I'm a lefty, I feel like I have an advantage for a lot of shots, but if I had to pick one, probably my serve, just because I feel like it's one of the hardest shots in the game. And it's yeah.
I love that you said that. Yeah, because the serve is the one thing that you, in my opinion, have total control over. And it's you can do a lot of practicing with that on that particular shot as well. So it doesn't require you to have anybody. You can go out with a thing of balls and just practice serving. So I really like that you feel like your serve is that shot. That's a great thing, young man. And
I'm glad he said that because we spent a lot of money with coach to work on that serve. So kind of in the grip the whole bit. So yeah, we're working on it for sure. So yeah, it's paying off.
That is hilarious.
Yeah,
and what about Dad? So Dad, you're getting in there, D. You're learning the game. What are you finding is what's the shot that is kind of popping up for you as being your favorite? Crazy
enough, it's the backhand. For some reason, 2 hands on the racket. I mean, it's just like that control. You sweep, up and under. It's working out for me, right? But my serve is questionable. So we're gonna he laughs, right? We're gonna take some private lessons together and kind of go back and forth and tee it up. So yeah, we'll see. But no, my backhand for sure.
That is incredible.
That's awesome.
Now, what I want to make sure our viewers and listeners understand is, okay, we're talking about the game of tennis. And yeah, we're kind of talking about a book here, and we're going to talk a little more about the book and where people can get it and all that in a few minutes. But what I respect about what your family is doing is there is a spirit of entrepreneurship that you are cultivating in your children. Can you talk about, what's going on there?
Absolutely. So this whole thing started with a children's business fair that we were invited to, right? It was a fair where the kids had to come up with a business plan, come up with a product, and take it again from beginning to end. So it started there. She made bracelets. He made these little cell phone holders, and it just became this little creative deal to keep busy, stay out of trouble, right? So did that, had some success, got an Instagram page, got some followers, and it became like this thing, right? And so as these fairs became more frequent, we get into them every year. And so we like, what do we sell next year? What do we sell next year? COVID hit, and here we go. So we did the book, right? And it just morphed into that. I use that word a lot because it did just kind of come together. It was organic. It just kind of, ideas were flowing. The wife is tossing things around. We're like, hey, you can draw. Why don't you sketch some things? And we just kind of went from there. And again, they have their own respective brands. They have Instagram profiles, and their followers are, obviously still pretty low, but eventually, being on the show and getting out there and just promoting ourselves, we're going to try to make this something a little bigger. So that's the ultimate goal.
That's just a wonderful thing.
Can you name what those brands are so that our viewers and listeners know?
So its initials JWB and Co. and Olivia's Creations. So middle name is Olivia. So Olivia's Creations. So you can easily find those on Instagram. So yeah.
That is such a great thing. I mean, Dee, having grown up in a family that did not have sort of that entrepreneurial spirit, I just find that to be absolutely incredible that we see a affluent Black family that is really teaching their kids about how to potentially run their own businesses and do. I just don't see that enough, in my opinion. So I want to congratulate you and your wife and your family as a whole for again, like Bryce said, for cultivating that spirit, because we need that going forward. I feel
absolutely. And I'm glad they were receptive to it, right? I mean, again, it's viewed as work, you know what I'm saying? But I think they saw the fun in it, right? So something you like, and if you can monetize that, then that's just a win-win. So I think that's what kind of drove all of it. Have some fun, be creative, and if you can make a few bucks in the process, then hey, and then from there it can get bigger. It can be, her becoming a doctor, having her own practice. This guy here wants to go into law, and he wants to become the next Kamal Murray and open his own facility. He's seen him and met him, so it's like it just makes sense to be an entrepreneur early. So it's just in your blood, right? I unfortunately work for a company. I haven't opened my own business yet, but again, I'm living through these two. So we're just
right. And from another conversation we had, that's not the only thing you're teaching your kids, because you talk about bringing money in, but you're also teaching how you share the money as well. So can you speak a little bit about the profits from the book?
Absolutely. So as a means to get more sales, obviously, we wanted to let folks know that, hey, we're givers also, so we donated pretty much 20% of our sales to one organization we befriended here in Chicago, the ACE Project. They're based in Riverdale, which is the south suburb of Chicago. They have an after-school program where they teach kids tennis. And so we met the owners, the co-owners there, and kind of struck it off with them and decided to just donate to them on a regular basis. Now, the hope and the goal is that once we get past COVID, the little fella can start training the younger ones, right? So what he learns, he can teach them. So that's kind of the hope and the goal of the process, So.
Play it forward, pass it forward. That's right.
Absolutely.
Excellent.
And just on that same, that same message, this one is directed to the kids again. What did each one of you, and let's start with Jackson this time. Jackson, going through this process of creating this book and getting it out there and working with your company and selling it, what did you learn during this process?
I mean, I kind of just learned whole about the business space, just how to sell different products, how to advertise, and just stuff like that. Okay.
And Mackenzie, what did you learn?
I learned how to price out product.
Oh,
see.
Okay.
All right. All right.
Wait a minute. I think we may need to consult with her ourselves.
Quietly.
Bryce, Isaac, guys, we went back and forth on the price point for this book, and it was fun. I mean, I'm like, let's be modest with it. Let's go low. The wife was like, listen, let's go get it. Let's price right in the middle. So I think it landed where it did because of her rationale, her logic, thought process. So yeah, that was a funny process in itself, though. It's funny she brought that up, though, you know.
That's so funny. It really is, because that's something that it's so important to make sure you're doing, as far as making sure, again, you don't come in too high, don't come in too low. You want that nice little sweet spot so that people are seeing your product and really can buy into its price and what it has to offer. So I mean, for kids that are 13 and 10 to be involved in that type of a discussion,
Right.
come on, man. Come on,
That's not taught in school, though. It's free.
No, that's
Unfortunately,
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, unfortunately, it's not exactly, and it's awesome, excellent.
And to add to that, the value of time, right? I mean, it costs a good one thing: paper, ink, print, blah blah blah. The services we paid for, as far as the flyers we made and things like that nature. But their time, right? Getting to monetize and put a value on your time. Time is, I mean, it's precious. You know, so
That's right.
time into researching, sketching, drawing. How do you pay for that, right? So I think that was a good lesson as well. You know?
Absolutely. So D and kids, talk to us about, okay, we've entered into 2022. What are some of the things that you guys have on the horizon as it relates to this book and or any other potential projects?
Great question. Great question. So again, getting more business fairs under our belt, as far as getting more sales there, getting our online presence a little more ramped up as far as social media. And we're in the process of making a track and field book.
Oh, right.
Yeah, they both run track now. I mean, she's a little further along than Jackson as far as track, and second season in, she's placing in the state, she's getting medals. It became this thing. So
all right.
take that energy and put it towards track and field. So we've researched the different, Carl Lewis and just going with that. So that's in its infancy. We're still working on that, but I think that'll keep us busy doing this next Omicron phase, COVID, unfortunately. So. But yeah, that's the next project, And aside from that, again, just pushing this one forward a little more. Black History up in February, so just getting the word out there with that. We landed in a couple of bookstores recently, so just trying to go that route,
Well, and that's what I wanted to ask you. How can our viewers and listeners find this book?
So there's three ways. There's the book table, which is located in Oak Park. They have an online presence, and obviously, if you're in the Chicagoland area, you can go to the actual brick and mortar store. Afro-Wear Books. I met the young lady who owns that bookstore. Awesome young lady. She has a huge online presence. Afro-Wear Books and Amazon. The big, the huge monster there. So it's obvious that we had to use that route as well. And they actually help with the printing of the book. We use their KDP services to kind of get the print version of it going. So
gotcha. And I just want to show everybody again. I got it off of Amazon. So it's real easy, and if you got Amazon Prime, y'all know y'all can get it real quick. So ain't got to pay for no shipping. So
and I could have sent you an author's copy. I should have did that in advance. So hey, thanks for purchasing it. I appreciate it.
Oh no, we're glad that we're able to support, and we're hoping that many of our listeners and our viewers are able to support as well.
Absolutely.
Isaac, did you have any additional questions for the Baker family?
No, I do not, except for, again, just to say that I'm very much just really thankful that we have come together. I think what you are doing is incredible. What you as a family unit are doing. I mean, it to me, these are those little things that pay dividends to others long term. And I really, because again, Bryce and I are all about tennis. We love tennis. That's why we have Brothers on Tennis in existence. But it's really about making sure that, again, our folk are really, really, benefiting. And I think that your project will do just that for many others. So congratulations on the project. Kids, keep doing what you're doing. I think you both are outstanding young individuals. And just keep being inspired. And Mackenzie, get out there, and Jackson, get out there. You both get your tennis on and get that serve and that forehand and let's and do what you do. That's right. That's what I'm gonna say.
Right. And I ask, Baker family, any final words you want to give to our listeners and our viewers?
Again, huge thanks to you guys for again your patience and the scheduling, getting back and forth, and finally getting this on. We talked about it a bunch as a family and prepping for this thing, and I'm glad it worked out. I'm glad we're here. It's an experience, right? This is so popular. It's not something we do every day. So having this and you guys on the screen, this is pretty cool. And your show was awesome. I've showed them a bunch of footage from your past shows, and big fans what you guys are doing. And to the audience, support when you can, guys. Again, this isn't a huge money grab. This is more of an experience for us. So again, I'd love for you guys to see what we did, learn from it, share it with your friends, and educate folks about Blacks in tennis.
That's incredible. Well, keep doing what you guys do. And to our viewers and our listeners, go out and get the book and support. We'll be back with our regular shows starting next week. We're going to get ready to start talking about some of these interesting topics that are going on in the world of tennis right now.
Absolutely.
But until then, on behalf of Isaac, myself, and the Baker family, this is your boy Bryce.
And this is your boy Isaac.
And we are Brothers on Tennis. Everyone, take care.